What's up, everybody? Welcome to Mystick's MMOs. I'm your host, Mysticraven. This might be one of my last builds for Elder Scrolls Online. So this is for Update 33. And just because I do it time and time again, and I always have beaten the meta to the punch. Even when I come back after a 2-year hiatus. We're going to dub this Mysticraven. I think it's poetic. Let's go ahead and get into it. Character sheet on the stat bar. We're slightly over 20,000 health. Stamina recovery currently 1404. Magic recovery 785. Our critical value on staff side is going to be low, 37, but our spell pen and physical penetration is going to be high due to the Maelstrom staff. We have everything allocated into stamina. We're going to be using the Thief Mundus. We're going to be using Lava Foot, Soup, and Sultries. Speaking of, let's check out that staff. No, we're good. Alright, 2H side. 57% critical. 21 max health, we can't control that. Stamina recovery 1404. Penetration, the nice 5003. Looks good. It looks good. It looks great. This looks great. This looks excellent. So, let's get into the sets. Primary set for proc is going to be Kenraz. Now, these are two sets that are really popular. And for the Stam-Sorc, it makes sense. Now, I wouldn't put Kenraz on every class, but for Stam-Sorc, definitely would. We're going to go with that axe. Why? Because I'm in work. You can go Khajiit, but if you go Khajiit, you want to go with the sword. If you're an orc, you want to go ahead with the axe. If you're a dark elf, you go with the axe. If you go with high elf, you want to go with the axe. If you're Khajiit, the only exception is Khajiit gets the sword. Why? Because it's an indifferent value, and there's a cap on critical damage output. Okay. This is going to be charged with shock. Yes, I know. A stam with the shock glyph. Why? Why? Well, my viewers already know. You're getting physical and shock damage by 5%. So, yeah, shock. Okay. Maelstrom Perfected Lightning Staff. Now, you can go with the Inferno if you wanted to, but I wouldn't recommend it because you never know what you're getting in randoms or pugs. Once again, Lightning, you're going to get a shock bonus when you apply the wall. That would make sense. You want to go Infuse with the weapon and spell damage increase. Now, kind of important because your light and heavy attacks are going to deal additional damage. That pairs up perfectly with Kenraz. Lightning Staff Stam. Sword, yes. All day, every day. One Piece Slime Crawl. Infused max stamina. Why infused max stamina? Why? Because of bound armament. It's going to get a scale factor. We're increasing our max stam by 8%. So we are using this as a multiplier towards base. If we go into with divine into the critical value, that's a diminishing return. Thus, we're not scaling to our appropriate potential. It's called math. Okay. Another infused max stamina. Divine Gundrolf. So we're going to use Bosses as our secondary really quick. Why? Because it's a stam tune. We do have Magicka, but you notice that we don't have a lot of Magicka pool, and we don't have a lot of Magicka recovery. And this set specifically scales to 15% based on your missing magicka. Meaning the less magicka I have, the more all of my effects deal damage. Now, update 33, we have what we call associated scaling, meaning that it doesn't matter if I'm Stam or Mag, my effects will scale appropriately to my stats. However, they're still subjected to cost. So that's why we want to have a little magicka. We want to have some magical abilities to scale, thus the Maelstrom Staff in the Wall, one ability, so we can dump out our pool and use the rest of the stamina abilities to attack. Okay. Now this is not perfected because I'm going to assume a lot of people don't have perfected. And that's fine. You don't need it. It's a great thing. You don't even need a perfected Maelstrom Staff. Okay, you don't need that. Okay. But that's going to be infused as well. Now, one Divine Grundwolf. Why? Because we're going to assume that in the perfect scenario, we would replace this with a kilt. If you don't have a perfect scenario, you're going to slot the Grundwolf for the extra critical value, thus giving us that 57% base to crit. Lovely. That's Divine, max stamina. Now, 1 health Divine. Well, remember on the staff side, we're going to be really kind of low on that, so we want to take advantage of at least 1 health glyph on a low, small piece. Gloves of Base, Divine, max stamina. Divine, max stamina. Now notice all of my gear, with the exception of my head and shoulders. My head and shoulders are my medium. I need 2 medium for my scale factor. But my light pieces give me my penetrating value associated into the light armor passive and giving me my critical value. So there's my critical value and there's my penetration. Then I'm going to get the agility here. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead with the feet, Divine, max stamina. You want to replace the magicka with the stamina glyphs. 3 Kenrod Jewelry, all infused, all weapon damage. If you want to go 1 Bloodthirsty, you can. Don't go 3 Bloodthirsty. For God's fucking sakes. Okay. Excuse me. Alright. Now, let's go ahead and get into the skills. Back bar. We're going to use Critical Surge. It's going to give us our Major Brutality and Major Sorcery. It's also going to give us a self-sustaining heal. It's going to cost what? Magicka. Nice. Lightning Flood. We're going to get that bonus to shock damage and associated scaling. Cost Magicka. And Unstable Wall of Storms. Same thing. We have 3 abilities that we can dump the Magicka from. Razor Caltrops, and of course Hurricane, and Summon Charge Atronach. Nice thing about the Sorcerer, you'll see that I'm running 1, 2, 3, 4 Sorcerer abilities. So in the Expert Mage, we're getting 8% towards our weapon and spell damage. Good stuff. Now, we're only going to get 2 because we're only going to be using the Bound Armament. So we're only going to get 2%, but we got the Barb Trap and the Evil Hunter. Yes, Evil Hunter, because remember you're using Kenros. You're going to get the Minor Berserk anyways. And then the Flawless Dawnbreaker. Now when we go into the Fighters Guild passives, we get an extra 6%, right? And the Slayer passive, or I mean 9%, sorry, 9%, yeah, the 3%. So we get 9 plus 2, that's 11% into that multiplier, added to the Agility passive. okay, of 4%. My brain sometimes gets ahead of me. Alright, and that's static no matter what. Okay, looks good, looks really good. The abilities you're going to use: the Stampede, Bound Armaments, right? Barb Trap, Executioner, Evil Hunter, Flawless Dawnbreaker. Alright. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at those stats, shall we? %, with 7,300 weapon damage and 19 stamina recovery. It's been an honor to come back and do this. It has been my honor to bring back the knowledge that I possess and shake it up once again. It's always going to be about the numbers. Now, this setup I put together for two reasons. One, it's just very cookie cutter. So a lot of people are going to adapt to this, but if they're going to adapt to something, I would want them to run it at the maximum potential, the best they can. Does this mean it's best in slot? No. Does this mean that this is the only way to go? No. This is an option, but the numbers matter. How you use light and medium armor, how you use traits, how you scale, all of these things are factors. Life is a numbers game. And you better know how the numbers fall. As always, I am Mysticraven. This is always going to be Mystick's MMOs. And thank you all so much. It has been my honor. Have a nice day.